Welcome back, the Keto family. Today, we're making a low-carb, keto-friendly chocolate chip cheesecake bar. If this is your first time with us, don't forget, hit the subscribe button below and the bell icon so you don't miss upcoming videos. Alright lovelies, as always, before we get started, everything I'm using today is going to be right down there in the description below, and then at the end of the video is a nutritional information card to give you the macro breakdown for this. Now that is just an estimation, your exact numbers may differ slightly if you have slightly different ingredients than I do, so I always encourage you to do your own calculations. There are plenty of free online tools to do that with. Alright, to start this recipe, we're going to do a super simple keto-friendly crust starting with almond flour. I have a cup of sifted almond flour here. To that, I'm going to add my sweetener. I've got 1/3 of a cup of granular monk fruit. You can use any sweetener of your choice. I just prefer granular monk fruit because it has at least artificial sweetener type of aftertaste to me. That and pure stevia are my two favorite ones. So I'm going to give this a quick mix together. Alright, then I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of melted butter. Alright, and we'll mix this together till we get a good crust. So in the past when I've made this recipe, I would use a 9x13 baking dish. And these bars came out really good, but they came out a little thinner than I would have liked. So today I'm going to use an 8x8 dish. And I scaled down the crust ingredients to accommodate the smaller pan size. But for the filling, I didn't because I wanted a nice thick filling. I just didn't want a nice thick crust. Alright, so I got my 8x8 baking pan here, and I've already lined it with aluminum foil. I just find it gets the bars to come out a little bit easier. Alright, so we're going to put the crust in there. We're just going to spread this out. So we have our crust down in the baking pan here. I got my oven preheated at 350 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and bake this for 6 minutes. I'll be right back with you. So while our crust is baking, I'm going to go ahead and make the filling here. I've got 2 8-ounce packages of cream cheese. I have let this sit on the counter for the last few hours to soften up a little bit. If you do these straight out of the refrigerator, they can be a bit difficult to mix in. And to that, I'm going to add 1 egg that's already been beaten. A tablespoon of vanilla extract. And I got 1/3 of a cup of my sweetener here. I'm using pure stevia. Again, if you have a different sweetener you prefer to use, you can use that. In this particular recipe, I did not like the granular monk fruit when I used that in the filling. It didn't quite get all the grittiness out, so that's why I'm using the pure stevia in this. Alright, put this down. We're going to mix this all together. Initially start off low because you got that sweetener in there. You don't want to make a big poof of sweetener and cloud in your kitchen. Alright, so we mix that into a nice creamy mixture. No lumps, no bumps, anything like that. Where's my spatula? Alright, we'll get all this cleaned off. And just so you can better see what I'm doing, I'm going to go ahead and turn it onto a glass bowl. Alright, now that we have that cheesecake filling good to go, I'm going to go ahead and fold in 1 cup of Lily's sugar-free chips. I think these are milk chocolate chips. But in the end, it's preference, whatever you prefer. You can use chocolate, white chocolate, butterscotch. There's even a birthday cake flavored one, I think, although that might have just been the bar. Alright, so that was perfect timing. The timer for my oven just went off. Let me get that crust down. So the crust has just started to lightly brown around the edges. That's just perfect. Now I don't want to put this mixture into the crust just yet because it's really hot. It would make a liquidy mess. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes to cool down, and then we'll combine everything. Alright guys and gals, so it has been 10 minutes and my crust has cooled off nicely. So now it's time to put the filling in on top of it. I'm just going to pull up it all out and smooth it to the edges. Alright. Now keep in mind this is a cup of the Lily's chocolate chips, and it does put a lot of chocolate in this. So if you're not the type of person that likes a lot of chocolate, you can cut that down probably by half if you just want a little bit of chocolate chips in it. But my family loves chocolate, so I go with the whole cup. Just keep in mind that is scalable to your preference. So this is now ready to go into the oven. It's still preheated at 350. I'm going to bake this for 30 minutes. Now since this is a little bit thicker than the last couple times I've made it, since in the smaller pan. I might add a little bit more time on that. I'll check it in 30 minutes, and then when it's all done, I'll let you know how long it took. Alright guys and gals, so this came out of the oven, and as I thought, it took a little bit longer than the initial 30 minutes to cook. It took around 45 minutes. Just keep in mind, start checking it at the 30-minute mark. I kept putting it for 5 minutes at a time until it starts getting lightly brown on the edges. You'll notice the center is not as liquidy as it was before. And so once that's done, of course, like any cheesecake, we can't touch this yet. I need to let this cool off on the counter at least 30-45 minutes, and I'll stick it in the refrigerator to finish getting hard. We can't do anything with it until it gets nice and cooled off. Typical cheesecake makes you want to wait. But I'll give this at least, a couple hours before you try and cut into it. Let it cool off really good. I'll show you what it looks like once that has happened. So after I pulled this out of the oven, I left it to cool off on my counter for about an hour. And then I stick it in my fridge for another hour or two, just so it'll be solid enough to take out without falling apart. Voila. There we go. So if I cut this in a grid pattern of 3x4 squares, so that'll be 12 bars altogether. So I'm going to break that down in nutritional information at the end to be for 12 bars. If you get a different amount of bars, by all means do your own calculations, as your numbers will come out different than my numbers did. But there we go. It's all set, all ready to go. So good. You guys have to try this recipe out. It is absolutely divine. And guys, thanks for watching today. Don't forget, leave me a thumbs up down below, and feel free to share this recipe, the email that you know wants a very yummy chocolate chip cheesecake bar. Until next time, guys. Bye.